everyone, welcome to the next video from this page from Tiny Year. This is page 11, one of the March pages, and we are going to be doing this picture here, which is a cute little floral paintbrush type page. Let's have a little look. Now I'm using Black Widow pencils again, like I did yesterday. Hard to know what colour to do this. I think in my experience paintbrush bristles are either black or beige. I think if we keep them beige then they look a little bit, you know, a little bit more spring-like. So I'm going to do that first, I think, and I'm going to use this colour here, which is called Brown Fog, and I find this is quite a good beige colour, and I'm just going to need sharpening. I don't know if I could do with a better sharpener in here, but anyway, this one might work. There we go. And just colour this bit in. It's a little bit greyish. It might work. I may decide to just put a little something else on there as well. I've just put a cardigan on. It's feeling it's funny, it's sunny, but it's not that warm. I went out earlier and I wore a light jacket with a scarf, a light scarf, and I actually felt like I could have done with being a little bit more wrapped up. It's quite nippy, and I was wishing I had my gloves, which were in the pocket of my big coat. So we'll see. If I don't, you know, the weather's supposed to get a little bit frosty again, so, you know, we're not really into proper warm. Although I know that normally we don't get lots of really warm weather until it comes to sort of a May, really. I'm going to use the gun metal, I think, next, if I can find it. Where are you? It should be this one. Yes, here it is. And I'm going to use this to make this next part of the paintbrush look like it's made of a sort of metallic. Usually they're a sort of silvery colour. That's how I think they are anyway. So I'm going to do this quite dark here. And then just reduce it towards the middle. And hopefully I can make it look like there's a little bit of a shine on there to make it look a bit more metallic. This is quite a pale colour. I might darken those edges a little bit in a minute. Yeah, I think that's a bit too pale. We'll get, let's have a little look. The medium grey might work quite well. Is it that one? No, that's the light grey. Oh, here it is. Medium grey. And just sort of on the edge. Now, as I said yesterday, you know, I've got all the Black Widows, so I've got a nice big choice of colours, and you may not have them all. I do have some comparison charts, so you can potentially have a look and find the colours in different sets, if that's something you need to do. But you could just use a sort of slightly alternative colours. I'm going to leave that like that. I might decide to go over it a little bit more later. Now our handle, we've got quite a lot of possibilities because it can really be any colour. Usually they're blue, actually, the paintbrushes that I buy. And I'm thinking maybe that will work. I think I will. I think I quite like the idea of doing it in blue. Oops, just trying to move my pencil case slightly. I'm thinking the storm blue looks like a good colour. I think it's this one, yeah. Here it is, storm blue. So I'm going to go all over gently with this. I'll actually sharpen it a little bit. And then we're and then I'll do some areas a little bit darker than others. Now you can darken areas with the darker blue, or you can just put a more intense layer of the blue you're using. Sometimes that doesn't work so well. It just depends on the shade of blue you're using, really. My husband's just been out to an art shop. I didn't really have time to go with him, and I gave him a list of polychromos that I needed, and he did fairly well. He wanted some Chinese style paintbrushes to do some sort of ink type art with, which I've always thought looks rather good, so we'll see how he gets on. He's got a book, I think, to help him. And what else did he get? Oh, he got some distilled water. Not from the art shop, from a DIY shop, because apparently you need to dilute the ink for this style of painting. Japanese, isn't it? And it's you need that sort of water. I don't know why it makes such a difference, but anyway, I don't know much about it, so he got that as well. I'm not sure what other bits and pieces he got, a slate and things like that. Right, there's our brush. Now, as I said, you know, you could make your edges and things darker with a darker shade of blue, but I'm just gently building up a few layers of colour on those edges, just to see how we can give it a little bit of shape by just putting a tad more colour down. There we go. I think that's okay. Maybe that needs to be coloured over just a little bit. Okay, now looking at the flowers, we've got 3 different types of flowers really. We've got these sort of daisy-like ones, we've got these more flat ones, and this one here that looks like it could be a pansy or a violet, something like that. Now pansies are very often, violets are, as the name implies, violet. Pansies are normally a little bit more, they might be yellow. I've seen orange ones I think as well, but I think I'm going to do this one yellow. It's a nice spring colour. If it isn't quite right, then I'm not going to get too worried about it, but if you would rather use a different colour, then obviously if you want to, then that's up to you. What I think I'm going to do is do a few darker areas of yellow and then some lighter areas. So I'm going to start with the nugget, which is more of a goldish colour for where I think might be darker. Here it is, nugget. And then add a slightly lighter one for the tips. So I'm thinking here where these lines are. I know that the sort of the veins of the flower, they're often a darker colour. So we'll just put that darker nugget there. And I was thinking here where they're sort of overlapping, that might be a good place to do a little bit of darker colour. Yeah, my husband said he's got to update his CV because he's applying for a new job internally within his company. So that'll be an experience for him. But he said he's found it now, which is a good step. I think he went to the art shop to try to procrastinate doing it. But he has just got to add in the details of his latest role, really, I think. There we go. So that is our nugget colour. And I'm going to use the mellow yellow. There it is. This is interestingly, it's a dragon one. There we go. Sorry, I thought it was a different one from a different pack. And then I'm just going to colour that right to the tips. So you can see it's quite a lot paler than what we've been doing. I'm going to sharpen it a little bit. Yeah, I popped to the post office. Our post office is under threat of closure because all the branches which aren't franchises are being they're trying to sell them off. But I asked the chap about it, and he said, we don't really know anything. They don't tell us as staff. He said we didn't even know they were being sold off until a customer came in and told us. You know, they just don't get told these things. But he seemed quite confident. He's quite young. He is a very good, you know, very good with customers, etc. So I think he could easily find another job in retail. But whether it would be the sort of thing he wanted, you know, I don't know. But he was staying very positive, so that was good. And he was saying, you know what, they'll have to give us notice, they'll have to pay us redundancy, and it'll give us time to get ourselves organised. Now the little dot in the centre, now I just cannot remember what colour they should be. So I'm going to grab the eggshell and just try that and see if it looks right. I just feel like it should be a little bit darker, but not too dark. I'm happy with that. If you know better, then, you know, and you want to do it differently, absolutely do. Okay. Now I have leaves here. I think I'm going to leave the leaves until the end. Once I've done all the other colours, I will decide what I'm doing with those. If it looks a bit mishmashy, I might do all the leaves the same colour, but I may not. So these, you could do them all different colours, but I just feel that definitely these are part of the same stem. But I think I'd like to do these as well, so I'd like to do them all the same colour. So that's how I am going to do them. I'm going to pick something quite spring-like. I think maybe what colour is that? That's a little quite bright. I think I will use that actually. I'm going to grab the fairy floss. It's almost fluorescent pink. But what I'm going to do is use it sparingly and then use another colour as well. So I'm going to sharpen it. And then use it near to the centre with some intensity, but then just fade it to the edge. And I'm not going to take it all the way to the edge. I'm just going to sort of fade it out like that. And then use another colour on the tip, a lighter colour, to just finish it off. Oh, it's so cloudy. I thought it was going to rain. And now the sun's come out. Very typical British weather. You just never know from one minute to the next sometimes. I mean, I'm not a big fan of sunshine, but I like the fact that it makes people happy. That's always really nice. It gets our solar panels working well, which is always nice. It's always get a bit of a nice smug feeling knowing that, you know, you might not actually be paying for the electricity that you're using, which is rather nice. But we don't have a battery, so if we use if we produce more than we use, it just goes back into the grid. And the way ours works is that they sort of, I think they guess how much you're giving back. I don't know if they measure it properly. I'm not sure. But anyway, because we get at the time when we had our panels put in, there was a incentive which was set up by the government that the energy company can give you some money for the amount of electricity that you produce, and so we have that. So we don't quite get paid for all of it, but we do get a very generous, what they call feed-in tariff, and so that means that we're, you know, doing very well. It was you know, a sort of green incentive. This is the hot pink. I think it may have come out of Europe when we were part of the EU. Governments got fined, or energy companies got fined if they weren't using or producing more than a certain amount of green energy. and so they would encourage, they wanted to encourage householders to be green, and then that would help them. So that's, I think, where the feed-in tariffs came from. But unfortunately, what it does mean is, because it's not the government that pays it, it's the energy companies, they have to find the money from somewhere, because there's no longer part of the EU, there's no benefits from there of doing it. So I think it's part of the reason the bills are so high. It wasn't particularly well planned, but I think because of the way governments work, that can happen, because their term in office is so short. They just look at short-term gains rather than thinking about long-term goals. But anyway, it's we were very lucky to get in at the right time, and that we have a roof that faces the right direction. So you do need ours isn't quite south, but it, you know, gets the sun at the right time of the day. I'm looking at the other flowers. I'm thinking purple, maybe a sort of violet, or I might go for eggplant. I think that's eggplant, yes. And then maybe a little bit of purple haze on the tip. I think this goes quite well with yellow. So here we are, eggplant. And then just sort of fade it off. Like that. And then we can come back with our purple haze afterwards and get those tips covered up. I'm just going to brush my book. I seem to have a lot of pencil crumbs. There we go. Now, I think I mentioned yesterday that these pictures are available both in the Colouring Heaven book Tiny Year, but also on Agotapop's website, Etsy shop, sorry, and the links are in the description, so you can go and find them. Now, Tiny Year is no longer available to buy on Colouring Heaven's website. It's very possible that you might be able to still find it in shops. I do still happen to have a spare copy myself, actually, because my sister grabbed me a handful, and I sort of sent them off to people, so I'm fortunate. So I want the, what was it called, purple haze, there it is. But Colouring Heaven have put together a print on demand version on Amazon, so you can buy a sort of one on Amazon paper. They're a little reluctant. I did speak to them about it a little bit, because they're worried about the paper quality of Amazon, some print on demand. But I think they decided that because the demand of this book was so high and they couldn't reprint it, then they would try doing that instead. So it has been an incredibly popular book, and I'm really pleased for Agata that it has been popular. There we go. So I need to do the flower centres of both of these, the pink and the purple flowers. I'm going to do, I think I want the purple ones to be more of a lemony colour. We have a lemonade, actually, that might work nicely. Lemonade, let's try that. I'm going to sort of fade it towards the tip of the circular bit. Oh, I'm not sure how well that matches. Maybe black would have been better. but it doesn't feel very spring-like, a black. So anyway, now the pink ones I want to look quite different, not like massively different, but you know, not the same colour centre. So I might go for something a little more, see, I could go for something a little more orangey, something a little more creamy, or something a little bit browny. I don't think brown is going to work. I think the creamy colours might work better. So I'm thinking sort of mango, honeycomb, that sort of thing. I think I will choose the mango. I hope it's going to work. Here it is, mango. And I'm going to try and make it a little bit more intense on the edge, but I may find that because this is such a delicate colour that actually it doesn't. No, I think I just need to block it in. Okay. Now with the greens, we've got the stems here, we've got these leaves, and then we've got all of these. Now these leaves are all the same, so what I'm going to do is do the ones that are all the same first, and then see whether I think I need a bit of a different green. I think I probably will, to be honest, just for the others, but we'll see how it looks. So what colour for this? Well, quite just what I would call a mid-green. I think I'm going to start with the green glow. Is that one? No. Where is that? Oh, it's very difficult to see the names of the pencils because they're right where the elastic is in my pencil case. But here it is, green glow. These are really tricky to see, the dragon ones. And I'm going to not do the whole of the leaf with this. I'm going to do the stem part, or the viney part, and the base of the leaf. I'll show you here. So down here at the bottom, and then sort of fade it like that, and we can put a lighter one on the tip. I'm actually just going to do all of this viney bit so that while my pencil's still nice and sharp, gives a better chance that I stay in the lines. It's never a guarantee, but a better chance. Like that, and then here, and this bit. Oh, I just remembered I need to ask my son something. I have to ask him when I finish this video. He may need to go into uni tomorrow, and I may need to pop out and get him some rolls for his lunchbox. He's trying to concentrate on a bit of work, so he hasn't got a chance to do it himself. I've already had 2 walks today. There we go. Now for the tip, oops, I just put this away. So that was green glow. I'm thinking the grub green might be quite nice. Is that one? No. Sorry. There it is. The grub green is about to be sharpened off. I do find it a little annoying when the pencil name is so high up the pencil that it gets sharpened off. I mean, I realise, and the number is quite high as well, look. So, I know that people put the numbers on the bottom, they either with a bit of paint pen or sellotape it on under a piece of, you know, write it on a piece of paper and tape it on. They need to know. Some I will know, you know, like some of my much more familiar sets that I use all the time. Even if my pencil's a stub, I know what it is, just from the colour, but not all of them. probably only be the case with my polychromos, to be honest. I think, oh, I've forgotten this leaf. How many of you noticed? Let's go back to the green glow. Do this one here. And then the grub green. There we go. So there are the two greens. Oh, I put that one away in the wrong place. Just slipping them back in the case. Right, now I quite like these little stems to be quite dark because they're so narrow. I think we need them to stand out. So I'm going to use the fang green. I'll just show you so you can find it while I'm sharpening. I mean, the forest green or the opal green would probably be just as good, but this one just jumped out at me. Like that. And then these two, I just want a different shade really. Don't really want a greeny blue. I think I want a greeny blue, a bluey green. So I might go for apple, and let's go olive green and apple. Oh, my husband's sneezing, he's feeling a bit rotten. Where's the olive green? Is that it? Yeah. Iviv green. I've got to sharpen it as well. I won't be able to read it. Just brushing off the book. Ooh, it's a bit loud, wasn't it? Right, so I'm just doing that edge quite dark, and then I'm just going to start fade it to the tip. I can hear some music playing. My husband must be watching a film. He's a terror, he's always got a film on, a TV show or something. And the apple. Now, like yesterday's picture, it could be possible to put a bit more shadowing into this one, so the flowers and leaves look a little bit more three-dimensional. But again, I like the delicate look without that. Sometimes I want to do it really three-dimensional, but I can never quite get it looking how I want it. But I'm quite happy with it looking like this today, just fairly straightforward. So I'm going to leave it there, I think. I'm just looking and checking. Yeah, the bristles, I think you could do some lines to make it look a bit more bristly. I'm just wondering whether I can find a colour to do that with. Not really. I don't know if the suede will work. I'm going to give it a go. Where is it? Here. I don't know if it'll just be too pale, but I'm going to give it a go. Just sort of draw some lines down. It's not a little bit, just to make it look like we've got some bristles. Not sure, but there we go. It didn't make it worse. I don't think it made it better though. But there we go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and come back tomorrow please for the next one. Happy colouring!